Mr. Brown was nervous as he stood outside the small diner called Sunny Days. The sun was setting, and the orange light made the old red bricks of the building look warm and inviting. The sign above the door showed a smiling sun with the words Sunny Days Diner in bright yellow letters. Inside, the smell of coffee and fresh bread floated through the air, making the place feel like home to many people in the town. Today was not just any day for Mr. Brown. It was his first day as the new manager of Sunny Days. But there was something special about Mr. Brown. He wasn't just a manager sent to fix problems or check on the staff. No, Mr. Brown had a secret. He was undercover. The owner of the diner, Mrs. Collins, was worried. She had heard from some customers that the service was not as good as before. Some employees seemed tired or unhappy. Mrs. Collins wanted to know what was really happening inside the diner before making any changes. So, she sent Mr. Brown in as a quiet observer. No one at the diner knew who he really was. He would work like any other employee but would watch and learn. Mr. Brown had never worked in a diner before, but he was a fast learner. He wore a simple blue shirt and black pants, like the other staff. His name tag said Brown, nothing more. He smiled at the door when a woman greeted him. "Good evening. You must be the new manager," she said with a friendly tone. "Yes," Mr. Brown said, shaking her hand. "I'm happy to be here." The woman introduced herself as Mary, the head waitress. She had kind eyes and a warm smile. She showed him around the diner. "Let me show you the kitchen, the tables, and the break room," she said. "You'll be busy, but don't worry, everyone helps each other here." As they walked through the diner, Mr. Brown noticed the simple but cheerful decorations. There were pictures of smiling families, shiny silver coffee pots, and old-fashioned clocks on the walls. The floors were clean, and the tables had checkered red and white cloths. The diner felt cozy and friendly, a place where people could come to relax after a long day. When they reached the kitchen, Mr. Brown saw a group of cooks working quickly. One of them was an older man with gray hair named Joe. He flipped pancakes and laughed with the others. Joe looked at Mr. Brown and nodded. "Welcome to Sunny Days. We work hard here, but it's a good place." Mr. Brown smiled back. He knew his job was to see if the diner was still a good place for both the customers and the workers. But he also knew that he had to be careful. If the employees found out he was watching them, they might change how they acted. The first few hours were quiet. Mr. Brown sat in the small office watching the security cameras. He saw the waitresses serve coffee, the cooks prepare meals, and the customers chat happily. At times, some of the employees seemed tired or stressed, but no one looked unhappy. Around 6 p.m., the dinner rush began. The doors opened, and people came in, talking and smiling. Families, workers, and friends all sat down to eat. The place became noisy but cheerful. Mr. Brown moved to the front, helping to take orders and clean tables. One waitress caught his attention more than the others. Her name was Emma. She was young and had soft brown eyes that showed kindness. She smiled at every customer and never seemed rushed, even when the place got very busy. Mr. Brown watched as she talked to an old man sitting alone at a table, bringing him extra napkins and a cup of hot tea without being asked. Emma worked quietly but with care. She didn't complain, even when the restaurant got full. She laughed with the other workers during breaks and helped a new waiter learn the ropes. Mr. Brown thought she was special. At one point, Emma spilled a little coffee on the floor. Without hesitation, she grabbed a cloth and cleaned it up quickly. No one got upset, and Emma just smiled and went on with her work. Mr. Brown realized something important: this diner was not just about food and drinks. It was about people. The waitresses, the cooks, and even the customers, all of them made this place feel alive. As the night grew darker, the crowd slowly began to leave. The noise died down, and the tired workers took a moment to rest. Mr. Brown sat with Emma and the others in the break room. They talked about simple things: family, favorite movies, and funny stories from work. Emma told Mr. Brown that she worked 2 jobs to support her little brother, who was still in school. She wanted to save money to go back to college one day, but right now, she just took things one day at a time. Her voice was soft, but there was a quiet strength behind it. Mr. Brown listened carefully. He admired how she didn't let her worries show at work. Instead, she focused on making the customers happy and keeping the diner running smoothly. At the end of the day, Mr. Brown knew his job would not be easy. He had to watch everything closely: how the workers treated each other, how the customers felt, and how the diner ran when things got tough. But more than anything, he wanted to understand people like Emma. People who worked hard and stayed kind, even when life was difficult. As he locked the door and looked back at the glowing sign of Sunny Days Diner, Mr. Brown felt ready to begin. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, and maybe even surprises. But for now, he was glad to be part of a place that felt like home. The next morning, the sun shone brightly over the small town, lighting up the streets and the homes nearby. At Sunny Days Diner, Emma arrived early, just like she did every day. She wore her usual uniform, a plain white shirt and black pants, and tied her hair back neatly. Her eyes were soft but full of determination. Emma's day had started long before she stepped into the diner. She woke up early to prepare breakfast for her little brother, Sam, who was still fast asleep in their small, cozy apartment nearby. Emma wanted to make sure he had a good start to his day, even if money was tight. Sam was young and curious, and Emma hoped he would have a better life than she did. After breakfast, Emma helped Sam get ready for school. She packed his lunch carefully, making sure to include his favorite sandwich and a small treat she had saved from the market. Sam smiled when she handed it to him. "Thank you, Emma," he said softly. Emma smiled back but didn't say much. She was used to being strong for both of them. When Emma arrived at the diner, the staff were already busy getting ready for the day. Some were cleaning tables, others were filling sugar containers and setting up coffee machines. The smell of fresh coffee and warm bread filled the air again. Emma greeted Mary with a friendly nod. "Good morning, Mary," she said quietly. "Good morning, Emma," Mary replied. "Busy day ahead. Let's keep things smooth." Emma nodded and took her place behind the counter. She was ready. The morning rush was fast and busy. People came in for breakfast, workers heading to their jobs, moms with young children, and a few tourists passing through the town. Emma moved quickly but carefully, taking orders and making sure each person felt welcome. During the rush, Emma noticed a new face. A young man stood near the door, looking nervous and unsure. He kept checking his phone and looking around. Emma's heart felt a little tight. Something was not right. She watched him quietly but did not say anything. She knew her job was to help customers, but she also had to be alert. The man suddenly walked to the counter and ordered a coffee. His voice was low and shaky. Emma served him quickly, hoping to ease his nervousness. As he waited for his coffee, the man looked around again, then pulled his jacket tighter. Emma's heart beat faster. She saw that some customers were starting to feel uneasy too. Then, Without warning, the man reached inside his jacket and pulled out a small object. Everyone froze. The diner went silent except for the soft hum of the coffee machine. Emma's eyes met Mr. Brown's, who was standing nearby. Both of them understood the danger. But Emma did something unexpected. Instead of panicking, she took a deep breath and stepped forward slowly. "Sir," she said gently, her voice calm but firm. "Please, you don't have to do this. We can help you." The man's eyes were wild, filled with fear and desperation. Emma continued, "I know life can be hard. But hurting people here won't help. Let's talk. Maybe there is another way." Her calm words seemed to surprise him. He looked at her closely, as if seeing someone who cared for the first time that day. Mr. Brown stayed silent, watching from a distance. He was impressed by Emma's courage and the way she stayed calm. The man's hand trembled, and he slowly lowered the object. Tears welled up in his eyes. "I don't want to hurt anyone," he whispered. I don't know what else to do." Emma nodded softly. "We all have hard days. But here, you are not alone. Let me get you some food and water. We can talk, and maybe find help." The man nodded weakly. Emma called Mary quietly, and together they brought him a meal and a glass of water. Slowly, the tension in the diner eased. Customers started to breathe again and even smiled softly. After a while, the man shared his story. He had lost his job and was afraid of losing his home. He didn't want to be a troublemaker, but he felt trapped. Emma listened carefully, without judging. When the police arrived, the man agreed to go peacefully. Emma stayed with him until they left, offering words of kindness and hope. After the man was gone, the diner returned to normal, but something had changed. The customers and workers all looked at Emma differently. They saw her strength, not just her calm in danger, but her kindness and care for others. Mr. Brown approached Emma after the rush. "You did something very brave today," he said quietly. Emma smiled tiredly. "I just did what I thought was right," she said. Mr. Brown nodded. "Sometimes, being calm is the strongest thing a person can be." Emma looked around the diner, seeing the smiles of the customers and the thankful eyes of her co-workers. For the first time in a long time, she felt proud. That night, when Emma returned home, she sat with Sam and told him about her day. She didn't mention the danger, only the kindness she had seen in people, even in the man who had scared them. Sam listened carefully, holding her hand. "You're very brave, Emma," he said softly. Emma hugged him close. "We have to be brave for each other," she said. Before going to bed, Emma looked out the window at the quiet town. She knew life was not easy, but she also knew that she had a quiet strength inside her. A strength that could change the world, one small moment at a time. The day after the robbery attempt, the small town was buzzing with whispers about what had happened at Sunny Day's diner. Customers talked quietly about the brave waitress who stayed calm when the man had threatened everyone. News spread quickly, and some people stopped by the diner just to say thank you to Emma. But inside the diner, life had to go on as usual. Emma arrived early again, her face calm and her eyes gentle. She knew that the world did not stop for fear or danger. Instead, it moved forward, and she had to move with it. Mary, the head waitress, was already there, sorting napkins at the counter. "Morning, Emma," she said softly. "You did great yesterday. Everyone's talking about you." Emma smiled but said nothing. She preferred to listen rather than speak about herself. To her, the job was about the people, not the praise. As the morning passed, customers came and went. The usual crowd filled the tables, workers on their breaks, friends catching up, and families sharing quiet meals. The diner was warm and welcoming, a place where worries were left at the door. But as the clock neared 5 p.m., a strange feeling settled in the air. Emma noticed it first. The light outside seemed dimmer, and the chatter inside the diner grew softer. A few customers glanced nervously toward the entrance. At that moment, the door opened with a loud bang, and a man stepped inside. He was tall and wore a dark jacket, his face hidden beneath a cap pulled low. His eyes scanned the room quickly, landing on the cash register. The room fell silent. Emma's heart beat faster, but she didn't show it. She moved calmly toward the man, her hands open to show she meant no harm. The man's voice was low but sharp. "Give me all the money in the register," he said, his tone filled with desperation. Customers froze, unsure of what to do. Some reached for their phones to call for help. Emma's mind raced, but her face stayed calm. "Please," Emma said softly, "let's not hurt anyone. We can talk." The man's eyes flickered with confusion and fear. Emma took a small step closer, careful not to make sudden moves. "Take your time," she said gently. "We want to help you, not cause trouble." The man's hand shook as he reached for the cash drawer. Emma quickly saw that his fear was real, not just anger. Mr. Brown, who had been watching quietly from the corner, felt a mix of admiration and concern. Emma was handling the situation better than anyone could expect. Her calmness was like a shield protecting everyone in the diner. As the man counted the money, Emma continued to speak quietly. She told him stories of kindness she had seen in the diner, of people who helped each other in hard times. She did not judge or blame him. Instead, she showed him respect and care. Slowly, the man's tension eased. His breathing became less heavy, and his eyes lost some of their wildness. Just then, a small noise came from the back of the diner. One of the cooks, Joe, accidentally dropped a pen. The loud sound made the man jump. For a moment, everyone thought the situation might become worse. The man's hand tightened around the money, and his eyes scanned the room again. But Emma stayed calm. She stepped forward and said, "It's okay. No one is going to hurt you." The man looked at her, and for a moment, something changed in his eyes. The anger faded, replaced by sadness. "I don't want to do this," he said quietly. "But I'm out of choices." Emma nodded. "I understand," she said softly. "But hurting people will only make things harder. There are better ways." The man looked around, then slowly put the money back on the counter. He turned and walked toward the door without another word. As he left, the customers sighed with relief. The diner slowly filled with soft conversations again, but everyone knew something important had happened. Mr. Brown came forward and spoke to Emma. "You were amazing," he said quietly. "Your calm saved everyone." Emma smiled, but her eyes looked tired. "I just did what I had to," she said. "Sometimes, fear makes people act in ways they don't want to. We have to remember that." The day ended with a feeling of quiet pride. Emma cleaned the tables and helped her co-workers, but inside, she felt the weight of the day. She had faced fear and danger and had chosen kindness. That night, at home, Emma told Sam about the day, not the scary parts, but the moments when she saw hope and kindness in people. Sam listened closely, admiring his sister's quiet bravery. Emma knew the world could be a hard place, but she believed that calm and kindness could make a difference. As she turned off the light and closed her eyes, Emma felt ready for whatever tomorrow might bring. The days after the robbery attempt were busy at Sunny Day's diner. Customers came back, some still nervous but thankful for Emma's calm courage. The small town respected her quiet bravery. But for Emma, each day was still filled with work, worries, and hope. That afternoon, as the diner prepared for the evening rush, Emma noticed the familiar feeling of nervous energy in the air. She smiled to herself, knowing how quickly things could change but believing she was ready. It was a Friday, and Fridays were always the busiest days. Families came for dinner, friends met after work, and the laughter filled the room. The smell of warm soup and fresh bread made the diner feel like a safe place. Emma was moving between tables, serving food, and listening to customers. She had learned how to be calm even when the diner was full and noisy. Her eyes met a young boy sitting alone at the corner table. He looked scared and shy. Emma brought him a glass of water and a small plate of cookies. "Are you waiting for someone?" she asked softly. The boy shook his head. "My mom is working late," he said quietly. Emma smiled gently. "Don't worry. You're safe here." The boy nodded, and Emma stayed nearby, making sure he felt comfortable. Suddenly, the door opened again. This time, a different man walked in. He looked tense, his hands shaking slightly. Emma watched him carefully. The man ordered a coffee but seemed nervous, his eyes darting around the room. Emma could tell something was wrong. Just as she reached to bring his coffee, the man suddenly stood up and pulled out a small object from his jacket. Gasps filled the diner. People froze, unsure of what would happen next. But Emma did not panic. She stepped forward, her voice calm and steady. "Please," she said softly, "let's not hurt anyone. We can find a way to help." The man's eyes were filled with fear. His hand trembled as he pointed the object toward the counter. Emma moved slowly and carefully. "I'm here to listen," she said gently. "Tell me what's wrong." The man's voice was shaking. "I don't want to hurt anyone. I'm just scared." Emma nodded. "It's okay to be scared. But hurting others won't make things better." She looked around the diner, catching the eyes of the customers. Everyone was silent but hopeful. Emma took a small step closer. "Let's find a way together," she said. The man's hand relaxed a little. Tears started to fall down his cheeks. Emma stayed calm, speaking softly to him. She told him stories about the people who worked at the diner, people who helped each other and never gave up, even when life was hard. Slowly, the man lowered the object and sank into a chair. Emma called Mary quietly, and together they brought him a warm meal and some water. The customers began to relax. Some whispered prayers, others wiped away tears. Emma stayed by the man's side, listening and offering comfort. Mr. Brown watched from a distance, feeling proud. Emma's calmness was a light in the dark room. After some time, the man shared his story. He had lost his job and was afraid of losing his home. He felt trapped with no way out. Emma did not judge him. Instead, she told him about places that could help, people who cared, and the hope that could grow even in hard times. When the police arrived, the man agreed to go peacefully. Emma walked with him to the door, holding his hand and giving him a small smile of encouragement. As he left, the diner slowly returned to its warm, noisy self. Customers thanked Emma and Mary for their kindness. Mr. Brown came forward and placed a gentle hand on Emma's shoulder. You saved more than just money today, he said quietly. You saved hope. Emma smiled, but inside she felt tired. She cleaned the tables with slow, careful movements, thinking about the man's story and how many others like him were out there. That night, Emma told Sam about the day. She did not mention the danger, only the kindness and hope she had shared. Sam listened, his eyes shining. You are very brave, Emma, he said. Emma hugged him tightly. We all have to be brave, she said softly. Sometimes, just being calm is the strongest thing we can do. As she closed her eyes that night, Emma felt a quiet strength inside her. No matter what happened, she would keep helping others, one calm moment at a time. The days grew cooler as autumn began to settle over the town. Leaves turned gold and red, falling gently on the streets. At Sunny Day's Diner, life continued with its usual rhythm: busy mornings, calm afternoons, and noisy evenings filled with laughter and chatter. But behind the warm smiles and steady work, Emma felt something new. There was a challenge growing, one she could not yet name. One Monday morning, Mr. Brown arrived early, as usual. He had spent many days watching and learning. Now, he knew more about the people who made Sunny Days special, especially Emma. He admired her kindness, patience, and calm during difficult moments. Good morning, Emma, he said as she wiped a table near the window. Can I talk with you for a moment? Emma looked up, surprised but curious. Of course, she replied softly. They stepped into the quiet office in the back. Mr. Brown closed the door and looked at Emma seriously. There is something I want to ask you, he began. I have seen how you work, how you care for the customers and your co-workers. But I also know it is not easy. Emma nodded, thinking of the tired days and the worries she carried at home. I want to help, Mr. Brown said. But I need to understand more. Can you tell me about your biggest challenges? Emma thought for a moment, then spoke quietly. It's hard to stay calm all the time. There are days when I feel tired, or worried about Sam and our future. Sometimes, I wonder if things will ever get better. Mr. Brown listened carefully. You are very strong, Emma. But even strong people need support. Emma smiled faintly. Thank you. That means a lot. Just then, the sound of the diner door opening interrupted their talk. A young woman entered quickly, looking worried. It was Lucy, one of the waitresses. Emma, she said breathlessly, there's a problem outside. Emma and Mr. Brown followed Lucy to the front window. Outside, a small crowd had gathered near the diner's parking lot. A man was arguing loudly with a woman, his voice angry and sharp. Emma's heart raced. She recognized the man. It was the same one who had come the night before, the one she had helped calm down. The woman was holding a small child, trying to protect him. Emma felt a mix of fear and concern. She knew the man was in trouble, but now the problem was growing beyond the diner walls. Mr. Brown placed a hand on Emma's shoulder. Stay calm, he said gently. We will figure this out. Emma took a deep breath and stepped outside. The cool air touched her face, and the sounds of the argument grew louder. She approached slowly, her voice steady but kind. Please, let's all calm down. The man turned to her, eyes filled with frustration. I don't know what to do anymore, he said. Everything is falling apart. Emma looked at the woman and the child. We want to help, she said softly. Can we talk? We can find a way together. The woman nodded, relief in her eyes. Slowly, the man's anger softened. Emma led them inside the diner, where the warmth and light offered a safe space. Mary brought them water and a place to sit. Emma listened as the man shared his struggles losing his job, feeling lost and afraid for his family. Emma understood all too well how fear could make people feel trapped. Mr. Brown watched quietly, proud of Emma's calm strength. After some time, Emma suggested, "There are places in town that help families. We can go there together if you want." The man nodded, hope returning to his voice. "I want to try." The woman smiled, grateful for Emma's kindness. As the family left the diner, Emma felt a new sense of purpose. Her calm had made a difference again. But she also knew this was only the beginning. There would be more challenges ahead, more people who needed help. Back inside, Mr. Brown smiled at Emma. "You are more than a waitress," he said. "You are a light for this community." Emma smiled, feeling a little lighter herself. That night, as she tucked Sam into bed, Emma whispered, "We will be okay. We just have to keep being strong." Sam smiled sleepily, holding her hand. Emma looked out the window at the quiet town, ready to face whatever tomorrow would bring. The days grew shorter as autumn deepened, but at Sunny Day's Diner, the warmth never faded. Emma continued to work hard, serving customers with her gentle smile and calm presence. The story of her bravery had spread through the town, and more people came not only for the food but also for the kindness they found there. One chilly morning, Emma arrived earlier than usual. She wanted to get a head start before the busy day. The soft light of dawn filtered through the windows, casting long shadows across the floor. As she set tables and polished the counter, she thought about everything that had happened recently: the robberies, the fearful faces, the moments of hope. Mr. Brown entered the diner quietly and approached Emma. "Good morning," he said softly. "I've been thinking about how we can make a difference for people like the man we helped last week." Emma looked up, curious. "What do you mean?" she asked. Mr. Brown smiled. "I want to offer more support. Not just here in the diner, but in the community. I'm planning to start a program to help families who are struggling with jobs, housing, and food." Emma's eyes lit up. "That would be wonderful. So many people need help, but don't know where to turn." "Exactly," Mr. Brown said. "And I want you to be part of it." Emma felt a mix of surprise and hope. She had never imagined something like this. "Me? Really?" "Yes," he said kindly. "You have a gift. Your calm and kindness can reach people in ways others cannot." Emma smiled, her heart warming. "I'd like that very much." The day passed quickly, filled with customers and small moments of connection. Emma found herself thinking about the future, about ways she could help beyond the diner, about how she could be a stronger support for Sam and others like them. That evening, as Emma walked home, the cool breeze brushed her face. She carried a small bag of groceries for Sam and herself. The streets were quiet, but Emma's mind was busy with plans and dreams. At home, Sam greeted her with a tired but happy smile. "Did you have a good day?" he asked. Emma nodded. "Yes, and I think something good is coming." Sam's eyes shone with curiosity. "What is it?" Emma knelt beside him and took his small hands in hers. "We're going to help more people, starting with those who need us most." Sam smiled and hugged her tightly. "I'm proud of you, Emma." Days turned into weeks. The new program began to take shape, and Emma found herself visiting community centers, meeting with families, and listening to stories of struggle and hope. She helped connect people with jobs, housing, and food assistance. Every success felt like a victory not just for others, but for Emma too. At the diner, life continued with its usual rhythm. Emma still worked behind the counter, still greeted customers with her warm smile. But now, she carried something more, a purpose that filled her with strength. One afternoon, during a quiet moment, Mr. Brown approached Emma again. "You've done well," he said. "The program is growing because of you." Emma smiled but shook her head. "It's not just me. It's everyone who believes in kindness." Just then, the door opened, and a familiar face stepped inside. It was the man who had been scared and desperate weeks ago, the one Emma had helped during the robbery. He looked healthier now, calmer. His eyes met Emma's with gratitude. "Thank you," he said quietly. "For everything." Emma nodded. "You've come a long way." He smiled, a real smile this time. "Because you showed me hope." The diner felt full of light that day. Emma watched as people shared stories, laughter, and kindness. She knew the road ahead might still be difficult, but she felt ready. That night, after Sam had gone to bed, Emma sat by the window and looked at the stars. She thought about how far she had come and how much further she could go. "I will keep being brave," she whispered to herself. "Not just for me, but for everyone who needs hope." Emma closed her eyes, feeling peace. No matter what challenges awaited, she knew she had the strength to face them with calm, kindness, and love. The sun rose gently over the small town, painting the sky with soft pink and orange hues. At Sunny Day's diner, the morning light spilled through the windows, casting a warm glow on the familiar tables and chairs. Emma arrived early, as usual, carrying a quiet hope in her heart. The diner was no longer just a place to work, it had become a center of kindness, strength, and community. Emma knew that every day was a chance to make a difference. As she unlocked the door and stepped inside, she felt a deep sense of peace. The past months had changed everything for the diner, for the town, and especially for her. Mr. Brown soon followed, carrying a folder filled with papers. "Good morning, Emma," he said with a smile. "Today is an important day." Emma looked at him curiously. "What do you mean?" "The program we started is growing fast," Mr. Brown explained. "And we've just received news that the town council wants to support us. They want to expand the help to more families." Emma's eyes widened with surprise and joy. "That's amazing." "Yes," Mr. Brown said. "And they want you to help lead the effort." Emma felt her heart swell with pride and a little nervousness. "Me? Really?" "You've earned it," he said kindly. "Your calm, your kindness, they inspire everyone." The morning passed in a blur of preparation. Emma helped set up a meeting with town leaders, community workers, and families who had been helped by the program. The room was filled with hope and gratitude. As Emma spoke to the group, she felt her words carry the weight of experience and the light of possibility. "We all face hard times," she said softly, "but together, we can make life better. No one should feel alone." The room burst into applause. Emma smiled, feeling the strength of the community around her. Later that afternoon, the diner filled with customers. People stopped by not just for food but to share stories and smiles. Emma moved among them, her heart full. Among the crowd, she saw familiar faces: the man she had helped during the robbery, now working steadily and smiling confidently. The young boy who once sat alone now came with his family, laughing and happy. Emma paused to watch them, feeling a deep joy. The diner was more than a place to eat, it was a place where hope grew. As the sun began to set, Emma closed the diner's door and stepped outside. The sky was painted with stars, bright and endless. Sam joined her, holding her hand. "Mom, do you think everything will be okay?" Emma knelt down and looked into his eyes. "Yes, Sam. Because we will keep helping each other. That's what makes life strong." Sam smiled and hugged her tightly. Emma took a deep breath, feeling the cool night air fill her lungs. She thought of the long journey, the fear, the calm, the hope, and the new beginnings. And she knew that this was only the start. The town would keep facing challenges, but with people like Emma, kindness and calm would always shine through. As she looked at the stars, Emma whispered, "A new day dawns. And with it, new hope." The future was bright.